The Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce, who is part of this announcement today. Barnaby, thanks for your time this morning. So on this, I remember learning about this when I was at school in far north Queensland. There has been decades of promises, studies and political sparring. What makes you think Hell's Gates Dam will get off the ground this time?
Because we're allocating $5.4 billion towards it. This is real money. It's actually in the budget, $5.4 billion to build it. Now, it then becomes a role of the state government. Of course, they've got to want to do it as well. We've put the money on the table the other day for Urana Dam. They don't have to put a cent on the table. They just have to say they want to do it. We've got to get moving. We've got to get these things built. We've got to make Australia as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. This will allow 2.1 million megalitres. 2.1 million megalitres. You want to know how big that is? Sydney Harbour's about 435,000. So we're looking at about 4.5 Sydney harbours. And not only will it do the irrigation, 60,000 hectares, it also produces hydroelectricity. It gives us a whole capacity as we build it to reinvigorate the economy of Townsville with the jobs and the money that goes in here to build it. Once it's constructed, it goes on and creates for our nation a great capacity for the production of everything from hydroelectricity to irrigated crops to support of industry to support of the water security of the north, to make our nation as strong as possible, as quickly as possible, which is essential in the light of current circumstances. And I hear other people saying, you know, that they're just like us, but you've got to actually, it's not just your Defence Force, you've got to build the dams, build the roads, build railway lines. And this is doing precisely that.
The opposition making the point that back in 2013, the federal coalition had a vision for 100 dams. I'm not sure even one new dam has been built in that time. So can you forgive people for treating this news with a little caution?
Well, first of all, that's incorrect. And well, we can go down to Tasmania and see whether there have been dams being built right now. But I'll tell you one thing. When we slow down on building dams, it's not because of the federal governments, because the state governments either they don't want to or can't be bothered or can't see their way through getting this myriad of approvals, every environmental approval after business case, after this case, after that case, and on it goes. And it's not just dams, it's railway lines, roads, whatever you like. Like you take this, for instance, Urana Dam, that's not that far away from here. We've actually put the money on the table. Private enterprise puts the other half. So the state government doesn't have to put in a cent. Yet we'll be waiting because they get run by the Greens. And once the Greens get involved with these things, they'll try and stop it. So we need the Australian people to say, well, the federal government's put the money in. We want the dam built to make us as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. State government, all you have to do is get your approval and say, yes, let's get going.
OK, so it's still a way to go then. Like you said there, you've got the state government who needs to give it a tick, and you've got the business case as well, which is expected to be finished by June. Is there any kind of guarantee, though, that that business case will be approved?
Well, I'm going to leave that to the business case, but you know, we've done this before, Rookwood Weir. They're building it as we speak. But we almost had to take the state kicking and screaming to build that. Emu Swamp down at Stanthorpe in the lower part of Queensland. We're still, you know, we've put the money on the table. We want these things built, but it is the state government that ultimately is the last. It's their land. We can drive these agendas. We can implore them to do it. We put $5.4 billion on the table for something that not only North Queensland wants, the whole of Australia wants. They want us to develop our water resources. We want to develop our water resources. I want to develop our water resources because I want to make this nation as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. Because if circumstances in the future for us change, we won't be able to build infrastructure like this overnight to make it stronger. So we've got to start now. We've got to start straight away.
OK, that's the announcement. A bit more on that coming up later on today. Barnaby, a couple of other issues, including something that's just breaking now. The former federal MP Craig Thompson has been charged over alleged fraud of COVID-19 schemes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, you look, Mr. Thompson's life has obviously gone right over a cliff, hasn't it? And you know, he's in more strife than the early settlers, and I think I'll just let the process of the courts and the process of law follow its course with Mr. Thompson. It's not a Greek tragedy; it's worse, and so I'm not going to be another person sticking the slipper into him.
OK, and just a final one here. There's some concern from state health departments this morning, but should isolation rules at home be scrapped?
I think the Australian people want to move on. Look, you know, I'm here at Castle Hill watching people come up and down the hill exercising. People want to get on with their lives. I think that's generic. That's everywhere. People understand that COVID is an infectious disease. The vast majority of people now either know someone who's had it or have had it themselves. I'm one of those. And they want their rights and liberties back. I mean, that's another part of being in Australia. It's why we want to protect it. We believe in the rights and liberties and freedoms we have, but that's expressed in no more manifest way than in how I can walk down the street and what I can do with my life. And I don't want the government. I want the government as little as possible telling me what I need to wear and where I can go and what I can do.
Okay, that's Barnaby Joyce speaking to us live from Townsville this morning. Barnaby, thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.